Welcome to Japji Sahib, Pauri 11. People always ask how to attain empty mind, a peaceful mind, how to let go of all this bicker, chitter, chitter, blah, 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 de, kakamua, la, 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 all this cacophony in the mind, how to drop it and just be silent. Because people ask, therefore, saints, sages, the masters of yesteryears came up with different techniques, different practices. Patanjali called it Ekagrata. Ekagrata is nothing but one-pointedness. One-pointedness towards what? Towards that silence that you achieve in between those two thoughts and just diving into that. Ashtavakra called it Sakshi Bhav, just being a witness, not jumping into those thoughts, not shaking hands with them, not serving them tea, just observing, being a witness. Automatically the thought dwindles away because you are not giving it any fuel. You are not giving it any food. It dies down. The same thing Narada taught. Narada called it Nyasa, being centered. Why centered? Because when we are lost in chit-chat, we are scattered. We are all over the place. Yeah? Being centered means away from that chit-chat, in the gap between the two chit-chats, in the silence, in the nothingness. Do you get it? All of them described it in different ways, but they are describing exactly the same thing. Kabir called it Amani Dasha, no mind, a man. Yeah? Mind is only words, no? No mind will be obviously the silence in between the words. Buddha called it emptiness, nothingness, shunyata. Just being in that nothingness, zero mind, will get you there. All of them have described exactly the same thing in different words. All the paths lead home. If you hold on to the path, you are not getting into the house. A path is meant to bring you to the house. Now don't keep holding on to the path. Come into the house and just dissolve in that silence or no mind or ekagrata or sakshi bhav or shunyata. Just be. Thoughts will come. The ego will attack. Maya will attack from all sides to take your attention away. You just be, surrender, samarpan, surrender every thought. At every stage, more attractive thoughts will come up. Surrender. Go deeper into the silence. Only keep your attention on the silence, on the nothingness. Your attention should only be directed towards diving deeper into the shunyata. That is meditation. It is that simple. If you hold on to a mantra or a sound, you will not dive into the silence. That mantra was given to you only to shoo away all these nonsense, craving, aversion thoughts. You take the mantra, you shoo these away, but then now you don't hold on to the mantra. Even the mantra is noise, it is sound. You have to let go of that also and dive into silence. A technique of breath was given to you so that you shoo away the thoughts. Modulating the breath in different ways helps shoo away the thoughts and then you go into silence. But now let go of this technique of the breath and now go into the silence. Go into the silence. Do you understand the meaning of techniques? The meaning of every technique is to take you into silence. Now that you taste silence, somewhere with some skill, you find a way to go into silence directly. You don't need these anchors anymore because now you have learned the art of swimming underwater. You have learned the art of diving. You have learned scuba diving of the mind. So now you don't need all those things to help you come up to the surface and breathe because you've learned to breathe underwater. You found your own oxygen cylinder underwater. If you hold on to the same technique, the belief, or this, that, you will always remain at the surface and you will forever keep cribbing that your meditation is not progressing because you're holding on. Let go and drown into the silence, drown into the silence. And once you drown into the silence, the purpose is achieved. You have learned to be in that silence. Now, find the direct path into the silence. This is what Ramana Maharshi taught. He taught the direct path of finding that shunyata immediately because you have experienced it before. Who am I? Go back to that I, that shunyata. Now you dissolve there. Just be, just be, just be. And you dissolve. The direct path. Now you don't need any more anchors. You don't need any more techniques. You just close your eyes and you know where the shunyata lies. Do you see what I'm saying? Every attempt of every genuine and authentic master or teacher or sage is to bring you to the silence, help you taste the silence with the help of a life jacket, just like you learn swimming with the help of a life jacket, but you cannot keep holding to the life jacket. You have to let go of the life jacket and now swim on your own. Now start swimming on your own in this shunyata. That can happen only by listening. Listening to the shunyata, having the courage to bear the silence. Silence is very powerful, more powerful than words. Its power is so strong that the ego cannot bear it, cannot stand the silence. The only way that you can learn the technique of swimming by your own self is to gather that courage to bear this silence. And no teacher in the world, no coach in the world, including me, can teach you how to bear the silence. All I can tell you is bear the silence. Bear it. Bear it. It is powerful. It is too strong, but you go through it. Go through that silence, that power. And then just dissolve, dissolve, dissolve in the shunyata, in the nothingness. One day you will learn to swim without a life jacket. Then you have achieved it, and you've achieved it in this lifetime. If you keep holding to the life jacket, you may never get there. Not in this lifetime. So you decide, time to let go of the life jacket or not. Drown, drown, drown yourself in the shunyata, in listening to the sound of silence. That is true meditation. Now let's go to Pauri 11. सुनिए सारा गुनाह के गा, सुनिए सिख पीर पातशाह, सुनिए अंधे पावे राहु, सुनिए हत हुए गाहु, नानक भगता सदा विकास, सुनिए दुख पाप का नाश, सुनिए सारा गुनाह के गा. By listening and listening to that sound of silence, just listening to that shunyata, that nothingness, you dive deep into the ocean of virtue. Why virtue? What is all that noise in the mind? That noise is only of something that is not virtuous. You are craving for something, you're feverish about something, you see a very beautiful car pass down the street, you see it and a craving arises in the mind. I need to obtain this car by hook or by crook. I am going to get this car. This thought is a craving, yeah? And it makes you feverish. It brings into you the possibility of attaining it even through non-virtuous ways. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. Cravings and aversions can easily pull you into non-virtuousness. So he says, you dive into virtue. And what is the ocean of virtue? Where is it? In that silence. It can never come from thought. Thought is like alcohol. It is an addiction. You always look down upon an alcoholic who is the slave of alcohol, who doesn't have control over himself. You always advise him, get out of this addiction, become stronger, withdraw from it. I am telling you the same thing. Get out of this addiction of self-talk. Your self-talk is nothing but non-virtuous talk. Your self-talk takes you only deeper into non-virtue. You can operate in this world out of silence as well. You already know the answers. The intellect has learned all that it could have learned. There is no need to keep repeating the same old beaten record in your head again and again and again. It is only torture. It is only an addiction. Withdraw from this addiction. Get out of it. Pull yourself away from this. You are not different from an alcoholic. Yeah. So dive into the ocean of guna or virtue just by listening to shunyata, just by diving into the ocean of shunyata. Suniye Sikh Pir Padishah. Just by listening, you will know what the religious scholars, the spiritual teachers and Padishah, the emperors say. You will become a king. You will become a king of this little kingdom. Yeah? You will not be a slave anymore. You will know everything about this body-mind complex. So you're not different from a spiritual teacher. And you will become a scholar. You will understand the mind very clearly. So you yourself will become a Sikh, a Peer and a Padishah, a religious scholar, a spiritual teacher and an emperor. Just by knowing yourself, you know the world. That is true wisdom. Knowing architecture, history, geography, sciences, mathematics, being a scholar in all these material sciences does not make you a real scholar. Knowing this science, this operation of body and mind and how it works together. That is a true scholar, a real spiritual teacher who has acquired wisdom. He is a real emperor. You look within. Are you an emperor yet? Suniye andhe paave rahu. Even the blind can find the path. What does this mean? How can somebody who is visually impaired find the path? We are not talking about the one who is visually impaired with these eyes, but the one who has got lost in blind faith. We spoke today about how people get stuck in organizations, in particular belief systems, in following one particular ritual. So if you get stuck in something, these were meant to be life jackets for you to learn how to swim. And if you don't let go of the life jacket, you will never learn to swim on your own. Yeah. So recognize this. This is called blind faith, where you hold on to that life jacket because of fear, because of not learning to go into that water and stumble and fumble for breath and learn to swim on your own. You've almost learned swimming with that life jacket. It's just now your attachment to that life jacket and the fear that by letting go of the life jacket, what will happen to me? This is what is not allowing you to become solo, to swim solo or to run solo. You can do it. Everybody can. That is why there is the direct path for those who have the courage to run solo. Ask yourself, do you have the courage to run solo on the spiritual path yet? So, suniye andhe pahe rahu means those who are stuck in blind faith, they can also find their way just by being in the shunyata, in that silence between two thoughts, in that gap, and just dissolving, and listening to their own silence. Suniye haath hovai asgahu. Just by dissolving in that silence, by listening to the silence, what will happen? Hat hovai asgahu. You will grasp that was ungraspable. You will attain that was unattainable. You will reach that which was unreachable. Because only through silence can you reach yourself. Through words, you cannot reach yourself. So if you think by reading the scriptures or by attending all the knowledge sessions and listening to all the words of all the masters, I will attain it, this is a wrong understanding. You cannot attain it through the words. Those words of the masters are to help you go into the silence. Drop the life jacket and dive into that silence. And when you dive, when you just dive so low, then you attain it. Then you grasp that which was not graspable. You reach that which was not reachable. You attain that was not attainable for you earlier. Nanak Bhagta Sada Vikas Suniye Dukh Paap Ka Naas. I'll tell you a story. Aristotle was passing by the ocean and he saw this man sitting there filling a spoon with the water of the ocean and throwing it into a little puddle of water next to him on the beach. It was less sandy but more muddy kind of beach. So he had this little pothole kind of in the mud, and he was filling that with the water of the ocean that was coming in through the waves, spoon by spoon, very patiently. So Aristotle went to him. Are you crazy? What are you doing with that spoon? So he says, can't you see? I am filling the ocean out, and I'm using my spoon to empty out this ocean. One day I will empty the ocean. So Aristotle started laughing, said, oh, you misguided man. How do you think one little spoon of yours can empty such a vast ocean? So the man looked at Aristotle and said, how do you think one thought of yours can fathom that ocean of silence and shunyata within? He said, you are crazier than me. You are trying to fathom nothingness or emptiness or shunyata of the one within by the words that you hear from without. He said, these words from without will not help you dive into the ocean within. These are just little spoons. You cannot empty out that ocean with one spoon. You check, are you trying to be like that crazy person who is trying to empty out that ocean or even dive into that ocean of shunyata just with the spoon? By staying at the shore, it will not work. So practice. Dive into that shunyata. Then only can you get there. Nanak Bhagata Sada Vikas. Devotees will always keep infinitely blossoming, infinitely prospering. Yes, devotees here simply means the devotee of that shunyata, of that silence. One who falls in love with that inner silence. One who falls in love with that inner nothingness. He is a devotee and he will infinitely prosper. Just like that nothingness within is infinite. You cannot find an end to it. There is no limit to that nothingness. You keep diving deeper and deeper and deeper. Like that, you will infinitely prosper in bliss. Suniye dukh paap ka naas. Just by diving into that shunyata, into that silence, you will destroy all kind of paap, because paap is only the opposite. It is sound. Silence can kill all the sounds. Silence can destroy all the sound. May you dive deeper into that shunyata. Suniye dukh paap ka naas.